Hello, our lovely Girl Awakening listeners. Welcome to 2023. I'm Jo Hendy from the Sacred Sister Project.
I'm Amanda Parker of Mayala Organics.
Come with us as we journey into this week's Awakening episode.
I talk to a spirit. She comes in my dreams. She teaches me lessons.
Here we are, Amanda. Good morning.
Good morning, Jo.
Wow. It's already started off.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. It's
second of the second today as well.
I know.
A harmonic day.
Powerful numbers.
Mm.
Yeah. Look, we have so many amazing guests. And this morning, there's a lot of stillness in the space. It's really beautiful. And usually when we get to this stage, we like to read about the lovely guest and a bit of her journey. But something yelled out at me when I went on to this lovely lady's website, and I have to read it because it's so powerful. So just if you're listening, just probably close your eyes and just listen to
come with us.
And come with us on this beautiful little journey I'm about to express. So I will tell you my story, however hard it may be to comprehend. As for when one has not walked in the shoes of another, there is a space in between. Yet my story must be told, for there are others who walk a similar path. And there are some that have come before, and there are many whose journey is about to unfold. Because as I share my journey...
Yeah.
Sorry. It may spark the remembrance of who you are. For we are all one and the same, originating from a divine template. You are a divine masterpiece, for you are a divine spark of God's source consciousness. And as we each remember, the fulfillment of the divine prophecy grows closer. For it is time to unite, and it is the time to rise. Great warriors of light, it is the time to return home. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. My heart's just like...
exploding.
and
Zhara.
you don't even know. Oh, yes, now we know who's in the room with us.
Zhara, I've been so swept up with your amazing just presence. I didn't even ask how to pronounce your last name.
That's okay. I don't think I'm actually going to use it. I think I'm supposed to just...
There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, welcome, Zhara.
Welcome, Zhara.
Zhara.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you both. It's really an honor to be here.
Oh, wow. That is the most amazing. That's the most beautiful one.
Like, obviously, always the links are at the end of the podcast, as you know, listeners, but please go and spend some time with Zhara on her website, because it's an introduction of some things that Zhara is going to be sharing even more loudly in the world very soon. But it's she's talking to you when you're reading that her website, and everything that is there is just, you feel it in every part of your being.
Oh, that's absolutely spot on. That was just resonating through me, like vibrating through me, that I couldn't contain. It just like bursted out through my eyes in tears. Yeah.
So you can tell that Jo and I are actually like taking a moment to gather ourselves. Fortunately, Zhara, which you'll find out a bit more about Zhara very soon, has this amazing living water. And she's
Life FX.
She's cleared the room, sprayed the room, misted us, which I think also opened us even more.
It's in my water. It's totally activated something in me.
Yeah, Jo's just shared part of what she was reading out is Zhara's writings, and we're going to go from there, because the time we're going to spend with Zhara today, I feel, is just going to take us to some extraordinary places. No pressure. And we're going to start, as we always do, with asking you, Zhara, how did your awakening begin?
Oh, thank you both so much for this opportunity to talk and share, because I think this is what this time is about. It's to really unite and connect in that oneness and that greatness of who we are. And so... where did my awakening begin? To be honest with you, at birth.
Yeah.
it was a journey I was on since birth, and have been going through the process to arrive right here, right now. And it hasn't been an easy one. It's been one in which I've had a lot of trauma, from the human perspective, and a lot of coming to terms with standing out, and they weren't happy experiences, so to speak. So when I was a child, my mom was from Taiwan, my dad American, and I grew up in a very white neighborhood.
Okay.
Right? Very, very, very middle class and not necessarily accepting. So I stood out very clearly with an Asian mom, and she spoke Chinese, and we were very much just center of attention, so to speak, even though I pretended we weren't. And all I wanted to do was fit in. It was that, just that craving just to fit in. So probably didn't happen in childhood. My mom died when I was 10, so it was very much, again, okay, there's, a reason to be looked at. And then by the end of high school, I was able to fit in really, really well, so good, just had that all dialed in. And then when I was 20, I had quite a large car accident in which my legs got crushed, and so then my right leg was degloved. And so that...
What does that mean?
Sorry. I'll show you. No, that's okay. It's just a lot of scarring. So my leg actually just burst like a sausage. And so, but it's all how you take these gifts, right? Because these are all gifts.
Absolutely.
Everything that has occurred in our lifetimes is a gift if we can actually embrace it that way. And that's the perspective that can shift and change anything in life. And so for me, I woke up from the hospital and I was just in gratitude. I was just like, I have 2 legs. I'm the luckiest person on earth, because I shouldn't have had 2 legs. It was just a high speed. I was in between 2 bumpers. And it was, the doctor said, we don't know why you have 2 legs, but you do. One's not normal. But everything that went right could have gone right. Just one leg fractured, the other one degloved. And so it literally just, no tendon damage, no nerve damage, no bone damage in that leg, just literally all superficial. It was all superficial damage. And so that gave me another reason to be like, okay, can't hide, don't want to not be in a bathing suit. So I just went about my life normally.
This is at 20.
At 20, which is a big deal for a young woman
Absolutely.
who's concerned about image. But it shifted my life in a huge trajectory. So I ended up, instead of having to go get a corporate job, because that's how we were trained in New England. Growing up in the U.S., it's very much you get the best education you can in high school, do as much as you can, strive.
Of course.
Get into the best school that you can for university or college, and then you get the best job. And that whole going down, go down that whole line, and everything about it was wrong for me. Like I detested every moment of college. Made good friends, but you know something's wrong. But I was just doing it because that's what I was supposed to do. And so that shook up everything. That was my sophomore year of college. And so then I had the opportunity, my senior year, was handed a lot of money, not through a lawsuit, but just through underinsured motor vehicle policy. And so I actually had the opportunity to say, what do I want to do?
Wow.
And so,
sideways gift. There's a call it a sideways gift.
And so for all my friends, they were going into corporate jobs, going on for their masters, and I said, I'm running away to Hawaii.
Yay! Good
So I got to actually just completely leave, normalcy, so to speak, and then just live the life that I wanted to live, and ended up with a job as the publisher and associate publisher and producer for a surf television and magazine, and then ended up on screen hosting the show over there, and then just skydiving and surfing and just like literally I was just I'm going to enjoy life and that's it. And so that was the start of my journey, because at that stage I realized freedom was actually very, very, very important to me.
And you had a taste of it, and you knew that you could have it if you wanted it.
Exactly. And the ability to do what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it. And then someone had handed me, my best friend's mother had handed me Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now when I was 19. So I'd started to open up to that.
That was my book.
Yeah. Oh, it was huge, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was huge. So that just started to open everything up for me. But I still, wasn't ready for the next step, but it was very much, okay, there is much more to life than you think, but not necessarily diving into the real work, right?
This
at that
is so
stage.
Exciting, because I know that a lot of our listeners are, there's some that have seen the light, and then there's others that are just, it's starting to shine in, and there's aspects and they're questioning. So books are a great way for people that are opening up to this and realising that there's much more than the 9 to 5 and all of that. And that's a great book to read, to understand, because the way he explains things is very basic but deep.
And some people, when they get handed that book, they'll read it and put it down and
then go back and read it.
And then they have, over the next 10 years, they do the same thing, and then one time they read it all the way through and they go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
so
book,
at 19, that's powerful, isn't it?
It was really powerful, but not, I only felt the energy of it probably when I was in my early 30s. I went into a bookshop, and at that time all the psychic abilities had opened up, and I walked into this bookshop, and the energy radiating from that book was massive. Wow. And so when I would say I would recommend that as a first book as well, or a second, third, fourth, wherever you're at in your journey.
That's it.
The Power of Now is something that not only has the words, but it has the energetic resonance to assist you in your awakening process.
How beautiful.
So a beautiful woman who gave that to you. What a insightful person.
Mary Ellen Ford.
Absolutely. I love you, Mary Ellen. You're listening.
I'll be sending it to her. Yeah, no, absolutely catalyst in that transformational journey in that period of life. But so I was, doing a lot of that, reading Deepak Chopra, just open. But it wasn't until I was pregnant with my daughter that everything shifted. Ended up coming over here to Australia with her dad, and then met a woman who ended up being just the most incredible, I would just call her a personal and spiritual development coach. But we were business partners, and so my life 7 days a week was literally just all personal development.
Oh, wow.
And so that changed everything for me, because I started to actually look at what was going on, and never felt that I had gifts whatsoever. It was just, I'd love to be like you. I'd love to be like all these other people who were starting to come in with the psychic abilities and the ability to really shift energy very quickly. And then one day it happened to me, but the reason why it happened is because I said no to what wasn't working in my life.
Oh, okay. We need to say that again.
It's huge.
Yes.
I said no to what wasn't working in my life.
Yeah.
And what wasn't working for the others around me. And when you say no to what's not working for you, everyone else gets to get on their path as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. And so beautifully said.
And that, I feel, has just been the truth. And every time I've gotten stuck in life, it's because I wasn't honoring the innate needs of myself and the innate needs of those around.
Yeah, that's so powerful. So how old are you now? So you're
42.
Not now, sorry.
At that time?
42/22.
I'd say 28 actually. So at that time I was about 28 when I was pregnant with Tav.
Moving to Australia.
Yeah. And then, we came over when she was 6 months old, so I was probably 29 at that stage.
Okay.
And then, and so then her father and I split when she was 3, just before 3, because I knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
Right. He's a wonderful man, like still very supportive, beautiful father. Yeah. Couldn't ask for a better father, but it wasn't the right match. And you go into things because, you don't want to, let someone down, or you're a people pleaser, and that was me at that stage. It was how can I hurt someone's feelings? I can't, so I'll just grin and bear it, and then 18 years later it'll be fine. And that was me at that stage in life. It was like, do not let anyone down. That was number one cardinal rule. And my business partner at that stage, she just really helped me see that that's not the way to live, and that doesn't actually, that's not integrity.
Yeah.
And so leaving the relationship opened up everything for me. Spirit was just like, okay, you're ready. And so then everything came online. I could feel energy. I felt like Eckhart Tolle, I was walking around in this bubble of bliss and love and happiness, and just seeing the oneness in all things. And it was beautiful and it was blissful. And then I entered another relationship and it all went away.
Isn't it wild?
It's like, I was just thinking that it was like another no moment for you when that relationship ended up dissolving into something else, whatever that may be. But when you talk about the no moments, they can be even more powerful than the yes moments,
they're the activating moments. But
in our mind, we have them that they're wrong. Or that, that something bad's going to happen, or is it the wrong? We question, but it's like we forget to say, okay, I'm ready. for whatever's next.
Yeah, and I feel like that's been the biggest growth and challenge for me, is actually saying no, and it's been not letting people, feeling like, oh, I'm going to let someone down, so I can't do that. And that, I think, as women especially, because we're really programmed in that way, the majority of us, that we are the caregivers, we have to be responsible for this, that, and the other. And certain men are as well, but in different ways.
Yeah.
And it's the emotional upkeep I think we want to do for the others in our lives, and it didn't work. And it, it doesn't just take you down, it takes everyone around you down, because then they're not supported to actually be all of who they can be. When we enable, when we are codependent, when we hang on to each other, we can't actually experience necessarily the fall that we may need to have in order to rise.
Yes,
that's true. The fall that we may have.
So beautiful. Yeah.
And I hearing you say, because I don't think I felt confident saying no until I was 40. When I turned 40, I remember cognitively thinking to myself, oh, now I can say no. I'm old enough to say no.
That's so
and
wild,
it's crazy, isn't it? And and it's true that that want to make people happy is from a lot of good intentions, but if it's not in alignment, or if it's not true for all of you in that action or that want, then it doesn't serve anyone really that well, does it? It enables people or weakens people, or
That's absolutely true, Amanda. And it's just how it is. It's when we take care of the self, everything else flows, because we are only reflections of each other. So if we nurture ourselves, if we speak to what's true for us, if we get on our path, if we align with the highest possible aspect and the highest possible timeline for our own lives, everyone else benefits. And it's the saying no, it's the letting go, it's letting the past be in the past, and being okay with it, and coming to terms with what we actually have to shift, which is not necessarily an easy thing, because relationships fall away, and businesses fall away, partners in many areas of life fall away, and it's not that they don't come around again, but it's in that moment this isn't working. And I think a lot of people stay in relationships because you feel it's the easy way, you have to do that, and
or you want to do what's right.
Exactly.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm a conscious person. I'm aware. So I really just want the outcome to be right.
Exactly.
But there's also another way, which is like, no, I'm not going to stand. I'm not going to, this is a funny one, because it's like, you have to honour yourself at some stage. And is this working really for me? Or am I just trying to put a Band-Aid over something that's too big?
There's also that thing of it being an identity, what you mentioned earlier about being in New England, about doing the pathway. Relationships, marriage, those kind of things are a pathway too for a lot of us, aren't they? An identity that we
pathway to freedom.
Well,
marriage, 9 to 5, and white picket fence.
Exactly. And do it well, and don't let on that nothing's wrong, etc. And that is what so many of us are conditioned with. And there's nothing wrong with it if you're loving it, and if your life is working, and if everyone in that scenario is loving it, and life is working, then that's brilliant. It's beautiful. It's your soul's purpose. It's your journey. That's where you are at. But when the journey's come to an end, or if you've gotten the gifts from that relationship, the worst thing we can do is hang on. And in the second relationship, I hung on for too long because I was in fear. I am not going to have a child with a second father and have two different dads. Like, I'm sticking this one out. And everything about me knew that wasn't the case. I shouldn't, and he also knew that as well. He said to me once, I think we're just supposed to be friends. I'm like, no, because the fear was too big to do that. To do that journey again. But it's, again, the second time is everything opened up again, and, because it wasn't working. You get the gifts in the beginning, and that should have been the gift, and then shut the door. Right? And we're afraid, at least I was afraid, to move on because change was too difficult. And
it takes courage, though, and you have to have that strength, I think, sometimes to go, okay, big breath, next step forward
Yes.
again, you know. So
Yes.
it takes energy to do it. You know.
It takes a lot of energy
Mm.
and
You know
a lot
what's-
of courage.
Yes, but you know what's funny about that too? I'm just giggling at myself because it's like, you know, you get the lesson. It's very clear that things like working for you, but you
Yes.
there's a part of you that goes, I'll just test it because it may not have been real, or, you know, I'm just not sure about it, so I'll give it another run through just to make sure. You know, somewhere in our subconscious mind we do this to
Yeah.
ourselves. It's like, when are we going to learn?
Yes, I know. And eventually when the soul is ready for that evolution, the soul will jump on it. And if not, someone will intervene in your life. God will come in and take control if it is that important.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me on the second relationship, because I was so far out of it, so to speak, just not able to really see through, you know, the woods through the trees. And someone actually had to enter my life and blow things out of the water.
Wow.
And yeah, that was crazy. That was insane.
So with this relationship, the second relationship,
Yes.
you're in Australia?
Yes.
Yes. And so what things were happening around you that you can look at now and go, oh wow, that's so obvious that I shouldn't have been there? Like, was there anything, was the world around you a bit chaotic at that time, or was just things just not working for you?
It was, look, all of my gifts had gone. They were
Okay.
gone. They left, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I would just tell myself a story that, I'll come back, and I literally, and this has nothing to do with the man.
No, yeah.
And I want to make that really clear. I love both of
Yes.
my children's fathers very dearly.
Yes.
They're beautiful people.
Yeah.
But sometimes we can be portals for energy to take hold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what occurred in that second relationship, and I didn't see what was going on, but someone literally walked up to my door, knocked on my door, and I was like just thrown off guard 7 years later.
Yep.
Just thrown off guard, recognized the man, you know, all the past life came back, everything came back, and my frequency just literally went from where it had been for those 7 years back to my original state.
Wow.
And so then it was just easy, okay, because we talked about splitting up
Yes.
for about 10 years, you know, 10 sorry, not 10
Just
years,
a wee
10
while.
times. 10 times. We'd had the conversation, so
Yes.
it was just easy. Because I could see again. I was like, okay, whoa, what am I, you know, what's going
Yeah.
on here? It was like someone took off the mask and the chains, and it was like, okay, just,
Wow.
you know, and it extracted. As soon as I did that, then I had probably, I would say, a second phase of my awakening.
Yes.
and it was literally, but I actually needed like a rescue mission, to be honest with you, with that one. And again, nothing to do with the father. It was
Yes.
the energy that was coming through
Yes.
that gateway.
Yes.
And then that energy literally just had me wrapped up in chains. And that can happen, especially when some of us are really on a path to affect change
Yeah.
in the world. And
When you're quite aware and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what's going on, but you're avoiding it.
Exactly. And a lot of us, I think, have this journey where we need actually to get on point and to get on mission and to get in alignment with the highest truth of who we are. And we're being pulled out from all angles because we ourselves have open gateways interdimensionally where we don't actually see. And so that's been a lot of my training. I've just been probably for the past, it was prior to my son's father's relationship, prior to that era, I was getting a lot of training for spirit. And then after this past 3.5 years or so, it's been very much like full-on training from spirit. I haven't looked anywhere else. It's just been very much that.
Beautiful.
And been sent different places to see what was going on energetically and watch the different dynamics, interdimensional dynamics. And so it's been all of that training to be able to understand, and having to go through the dark side and literally like walk through the dark side of the room to be like, okay, I can see these different portals open. And then there's just real insanity, like actually, you know, getting pulled into the abyss, into hell, so to speak, to actually have that journey and actually see what's going on for those souls.
Yeah, wow.
And so it's been so eye-opening and enlightening in the aspect of, okay, this is really war, and this is a real game going on here in this plane. But it doesn't need to be dark, because we are all the dark and the light. We have to find that integration point and to love it regardless, and to be able to stand in the face of any energy and any, whether that's a person or whether that's a metaphysical challenge or metaphysical battle, and just love, and like literally love beyond what we could possibly imagine. And that doesn't mean not saying no, right? It doesn't mean not holding your ground, but it's coming from a completely different angle. It's coming with a love so ever present, and the force of God just shining right through. And when I say God, I mean source. I mean creator. I mean
energy.
It is
All
the
that
universal
is.
flow of all it is. And I do use the word God a lot because that's just what I hear a lot. But I do mean first eternal creator, the source of all that is. And when you can stand in that presence and be that energy field, which we all are, we are all just a fractal of the whole, then then the world lights up. And together, that's what we're here to do, is to regain that wholeness, not just in self, but with each other.
It's a funny one because this came up in yesterday's podcast too. You know, the word love. You know, it's like I don't think we've even had a taste of pure love. You know, and I think if we all just had a tiny skerrick of what love feels like, we would be dropping a lot of the stuff, and we would be open more to
true self
and that we are all one and all of that, you know. But I don't think we've allowed ourselves to even receive that. So interesting.
And it is because a lot of the dimensional portals have been closed. This is all my awareness that I'm sharing with you now. It's because everything's been shut off from the light, so to speak. There's literally been a blanket of fear covering the planet, covering the dimensional realities that we're in, and it's up to us literally to unwind it for ourselves, right? And so we have to actually
wake up, remember,
and come back to that fact.
Let's wake up to what we came here to do, you know.
And come back to the fact that we are God. We are this eternal essence of all that is. And so that I'll jump back to that real second phase of the awakening. Is I literally woke up one night because I was integrating when that man walked to my door. I was really integrating the energy and like coming back into my frequency. I'm like, oh, okay, and just shifting through everything, and lots of different codes are being activated, and there was a lot going on. But then one night in the middle of the night, and I was releasing the relationship, so there was a lot of tension. There was a lot in the field, a lot of chaos. Let's just say the world kind of blew up. Yes, like the whole world blew up.
Your human world was like
I know,
chaotic,
and it was chaotic for a lot of people in our field. I couldn't believe it. It was just like whoa, and it was just all karmic relation, like everything, all this karmic patterning and relationship. It was just like it just literally was presented in the biggest soap opera you could possibly imagine, and drama. It would be like the best movie ever, because like, you can't write this stuff. And I was like, holy shit.
I just want to ask quickly, the guy that turned up at your door, did you know him?
He was selling
No.
bread. No, just kidding.
No.
You never met him before?
Someone actually had said to me, oh, I think you need to meet this person.
Right.
And so then,
wow.
And I was like, oh yeah, it did. And it was a romantic relationship. And it set
that needed to.
Yeah, that needed to happen. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it was, it was, because we can choose different timelines, different pathways. And so for us, it was very much a limited amount of time in this lifetime. And that was the work. It was like all right there. And I was able to heal through that journey with him, the abandonment, the codependency, the heartbreak, like that entire heart field. I thought I was going to die some days, because it couldn't last. We each had to go different ways, but it was that coming back together on this particular dimensional plane that needed to occur for sparks to be lit.
Wow! So the soul's
true love
purpose,
story.
the two souls' purpose, came together to he came in to support you to free out of all that stuff.
And it was unfortunate because when he did that for me, his whole life fell apart. And it was literally because we have to untangle what's not working. And for me, I'm an activator, so people's karmas will play out really fast around me. And it depends where we're at. So I actually, if someone wants to work with me, I just say, do you really?
Careful what you ask for.
Are you really ready for that? Because I mean, for my own journey, it's been like just fast and furious and beautiful. But you've really moved through it quickly. Because the language that I speak, it does start to really activate the full resonance of who you are, and then everything else that doesn't match will start to drop away.
I'm feeling like my vagus nerve in my neck is just like throbbing.
And so cool.
Oh my
And when you're
God.
talking, and listen carefully, people, because every now and again Zhara drops in a bit of her language.
Yes,
and
so
it's
cool.
you know
She
you're
closes her eyes and you can just feel it go somewhere. It's
So
amazing.
we're sharing it a lot here in these words. There's a lot more going on with these words than just words. So, yeah. So I'm so. Because when you're talking about working with you, like when you went from New England to Hawaii, like you felt that calling to go to Hawaii, instantly I go, wow, you must have felt like on a human level, like your ethnicity and everything like that, so accepted and so normal, because Hawaii is a place that is so full of cultural merging and respect for all of those gifts that our cultures bring. And the magnetic frequency there with the volcanoes and everything is incredible, isn't it, too? So that must have been like an activation physically for a part of you.
And you look
came
like a
alive.
Hawaiian princess.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
It actually really worked. Literally, the islands just sucked me in, and
Yeah.
I actually didn't choose to go there. I was had some friends that just said, "Oh, we're going to go to Hawaii. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Okay." It was going to be like a 3-month trip,
Wow.
and that was after I graduated college, and
Wow.
so. And then it was just, everything just sucked me right in.
Yeah.
And I couldn't leave until the pool here with my daughter's father. And that was literally going to be a 3-month trip as well. And here I am still, because it was here that the work needed to be done.
Yeah,
Wow.
again, just that, that belonging and
Yeah.
plugging in and connecting in.
Yeah, and meeting the right people and having all the activations that were required through the
Yeah.
experiences.
So you've now decided that you're leaving the is he Australian?
Yeah. Sorry, my daughter, who's 13, her dad's Australian.
Yes.
And then my son, who's 7,
Yes.
is his dad's American, but we met over here.
No way.
So, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's wild.
And both really amazing men, very different and very loving, and
Yes.
just we've got really great relationships.
well,
and
they must have big purposes to even draw you in. You know,
Yeah.
if it,
To
I mean, there's
connect with
some,
you.
there's always that you don't just draw anyone in either. It's like there must be some kind of energy.
Yeah.
Well, I get the feeling with Zhara that there's, from the male perspective, there's that serving the goddess in relationship aspect as well.
The muse. Is that what
Not so much, even
Yeah.
like just, but the
the purpose,
I don't
just
know.
the purpose to come in and
There's
help.
that the divine in me sees the divine in you, but it's definitely about the male honouring the female.
Yes.
The support role as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I don't think I wasn't open to being supported. It's only actually recently I'm really feeling like, okay, I can be supported, and because I've just been used to holding things on my own, mom dying and dad working a lot. It was just like, it's always been that pattern ingrained, and so that's been a big journey for me in the past maybe 6 months, is just be like, okay, wait a minute, whoa, let's rethink this, like where's what's the support. And so I've been shedding a lot of that energy that I've still been holding in the DNA to actually receive support from the masculine. And it's great, and it's been around so much, and not in romantic relationship, but just friends and business partners, and just people coming in who are just really magnificent, and just a clean, beautiful energy. And yes, and my daughter's fathers and my son's father, they're both quite supportive. Like we're very, very much individual, hands off to a certain extent, but we work together really well and cooperate. And and I think it's our journey to receive support, and to find that balance in giving and receiving. And as mothers and as women, sometimes we can come out of alignment.
Yes.
Well, it's uncomfortable receiving sometimes, isn't it? Like we don't know, whether it's compliments or whether it's physical support and or business or any aspect of relationships, even if it's just in passing. Sometimes receiving, we're not open to that for whatever reason. We're our heart, or
whether we can handle it.
Yeah,
we can handle the frequency of that.
Yeah, which is more towards love. It's like the love of self. Like, okay, I don't need to do anything on my own, and God's source is sending someone to assist in this way, that way, or another.
Yeah,
regardless of the situation. And
so true. I'm really interested in hearing more about where your gifts went and then came back, and how you navigated through that part of your awakening. Like you've now stepped out of a relationship and your gifts are coming back.
Yes.
What was
hot and
happening?
fast, activated.
Oh, look, I went through, so I literally, gosh, I took a lot of notes at that time because it felt very clearly you're writing a book. So I just started taking a lot of notes. Let me think about that. It was just like this merging of the fields that was it was going back to God, right? And the man I was in relationship with, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and you can't, unless you experience it. You can't even believe it's true. And if I hadn't experienced some of the things I'd experienced, I'd really, how does that happen? But when we hugged, it was just like literally the fields merged into oneness in a way that isn't physically possible. And it was insane. And I think the relationship needed to end, but at that time, during that time, I was healing everything. He was being given the opportunity to heal everything, and I believe is taken that opportunity as well in a huge way. But we all have to go through our process at different speeds, and in different levels of our journey, so to speak. But so I think what happened is everything was just back, but it was in a very different way, so to speak. And then it's like the energy was just flying. I was just flying in this space of oneness with the divine, I would say, and just like the sparks were just really lit. Like all the weight just dropped. I didn't have too much on, but I had a bit on, and that just dropped off of me. It was like all I wanted to drink was hibiscus tea for 3 days. I mean, just like literally, it was just like that purging of all the energies that didn't serve anymore. And it was a really difficult time because we were splitting the family. Like the kids were, it was a massive time. It was something that, in retrospect, I should have done a lot gentler. Yes. But it was like when someone takes the chains off you, it's like, run! Yeah, here I go. The door's open, quick! And again, not from the Father, but from the energetics, of the situation. And so. And so in retrospect, I would have done it in a more gentler way, and I've had to forgive myself for that. And, and the kid, like for the kids, it's the best thing ever because they're seeing their mother, thrive as opposed to just not doing so. I'm very cautious. I don't want to shed any bad negativity towards the people. Of course.
Well, like you keep saying, it's energy, and it is energy. If we take the person out of the picture. It's just energy, and it moves and flows and changes. No one ever stays the same. Yes, we've all got to kind of let each other off the hook there, and people can change. And it's like it's just energy. Yeah, it's just energy. So the fields that I was stepping into were just really beautiful. Yeah, and so one night in the middle of the night, I literally this was probably. Maybe a month after that initial encounter, I just woke up in the middle of the night, and I was having a soul exchange process. It was the higher aspects of self, just integrating into this physical plane. I instantly knew my native language. It was just online, just like that. And I woke up in this. It's like I'll describe it as. Stardust. It was like I was in a field of stardust, of just golden light, and just literally dancing. I don't want to say with the fairies, but like just dancing in the etheric fields with the energy that creates worlds. And so I was here and just very, very clear what I was doing. Got out of bed, very, very clear that I was a different person, different soul. Yeah. So same memories, same beautiful. Ability to parent, like same all of that, but the awareness of who I was and what the role here on the planet is, and how to accomplish that it wasn't just clear. It was just like, I know, let's go, let's just do it. And so that being said, it's been a journey to integrate the human reality. Yes. and that beingness of who I am, and how to actually merge that into physicality and still shift out. I spent probably a year like really shifting out fear of being seen. Like it's just something I didn't want. I'm like, different again. I don't want to do that. And I probably didn't say a word to anyone other than a few close friends in language, even though I was speaking it all the time, and I was just singing all the time, and that's all I would speak to my kids. My kids, especially my son, would really understand me and just respond without me having to do English.
and I was just in that zone all the time and shifting a lot of my own stuff and clearing my own templates and altering the DNA. And then I'd have a few people that would just come to me, and I would just start working on their fields instantly, and so I could start to see what was going on. And just really integrating the human experience, I think, has been the most difficult part of the journey for me.
Absolutely. I was going to swear then, but it's like that is the hardest part, but that's what we chose.
I know.
Yeah, it's like I mean, just listening to you, it's so beautiful because, the awakening is just so beautiful. Yes. And then you've got to be human amongst all of it. Yes. And it's just what you're talking about is just so beautiful.
And I think the best way to go about being human is to interact with others who are very much on the same page.
Yes. Yes.
And really coming together in those circles of whoever you resonate with, and just, holding space for each other and what you're going through. And
that allows the expansion to come in, doesn't it? When people are really listening to you and hearing you and understanding you, it's so beautiful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the power of co-creative work as well. It's in coming together in those circles. And just that expansion that occurs for each one of us is just absolutely brilliant. Because our sparks light up together, and then we just get to play in that flame, and then we just get to ignite and really taste God. I mean, that's what it is, because it's not outside of us. It's who we are. And sometimes when the densities come in, we kind of forget, we forget a bit because we have to do this or that or the other. But it's about remembering that eternal essence that is who we are. And
I see you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it reminded me, I went a few years ago with a beautiful friend to see the Dalai Lama speaking, and after a couple of days with him, and to close with, he said, this time we spent together, and, you'll feel different from when you first came in. And just remember, when you go out into the world and you go home to your families, that will be the real test. And it's like, it's that, and it's like what you're saying, like if you can build that support group around you and hold that space for each other, it helps you stay in touch with what is real, because being human it's not easy to be real being human, is it? The realities of all the things that need to be done without getting caught up in the busyness and the doing. And we were talking about before how important it is for you being supported now, because you have such a lot of work to do. But it's not the doing, the daily doing, is it?
It's allowing the support, and it's actually allowing the team and the guides that are here to do the work with me. That's been my real journey, I think, has been like, okay, I'll surrender and allow the support, because the humanness wants to get in the way at times, so that's where I'm at right now, is how do I really surrender? How do I really allow the divine to flow through when I've got a business and this and that, and it seems like too much. And the real work, I want to write, I want to speak, like that real work. How do you integrate? And it is let go. Let go. Stay present. Trust. Get back to Eckart's words, and get back to all the words that I hear from my team around me, which is, can you just let us do the work and go sit down?
It's hard for the mind to listen to that, isn't it? When we've been taught, no, you have to do it yourself, or you have to, there's so many sayings like, nobody's going to do it for you. You're like, maybe. I have lots of lovely beings around me that are supporting me and guiding me. I just need to get out of my own way.
And that's it for all of us, I think. And some people, I watch some people really have that mastered, and it's beautiful. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that tip. Thank you. And just sitting back, and it's a beautiful process to allow to unfold too. But I think the key, what we were talking about earlier actually, is the key is just to get on your path. Don't let the distractions of whatever else is there. It's just one step in the right direction every moment in time, whether that's just a thought or whether that's an action step. But don't make it a big deal. Like we can just take that one step.
So
home,
true,
so to speak, because our soul's path and our soul's journey is the way home for each one of us, and that may not look like anyone else's.
Because again, it comes back to that what we think is right, that what we think is the good. identity or fit or picture or goals. But when you do trust and let go, when you do step out of the doing, what actually starts to happen isn't often very much like that identity at all, or that picture that you had in mind, and brings you to Australia, to the work that you're doing now.
Yes.
With Spirit, with two beautiful children. So what kind of things have been obviously there's been a lot of things that have been happening around you to you, like with relationship, and but a big part of it is the mentors or the spiritual people that you've found as well and tapped into. So how has that kind of been tapping into those relationships?
It's been a real process, to be honest with you. It's been very much for the past year and a half a journey of discernment, because we can
We love that word.
as clairvoyant or intuitive beings, we can tap into any frequency that we want, and especially someone who's really open and aware. How do I put it? There are beings that want to communicate, right? There are lots of messages that want to get put across, and so for me, it's been really listening and fine-tuning to the frequency of God, Creator, Source only, and that voice is so loud and present now, and so beautiful and so clear, and just such. It's like I'm in laughter so much, because it's just that. It's that hand on your shoulder, just saying,
Yeah.
you're okay. You're okay. And that's available for all of us.
Yeah.
It's literally available for all of us.
I'm hearing you. The hardest part is staying in that. That's the hardest part. Is not letting the distraction around us continually take us out.
Yeah.
In every moment.
And it's having that toolbox and your techniques, but I find the easiest thing to do is turn back to God. It's kind of sutaya, sutasya. I don't have English words for it, but okay, I'll translate for you. It's the everlasting presence of the Creator is in all things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you can see each and everything as this amazing ability and experience to communicate with the divine, like this microphone, for example. Of course you both, but the work that you're doing, every moment of it, if you can just, or I should say if we can just, because I'm not through this one by any means, if we can just really connect in that literal present moment of divinity unfolded, then we have the much greater chance of experiencing it as we go about our life on a day-to-day basis. But it's all around us at every single moment. It's within us. We are God. We are the Creator. And everything here in this room is a manifest expression of Source. And so if we can look at that, see it, get into it, like that table that when I'm touching, oh my God, how freaking incredible is this, that we are here in this 3D having this experience. And if something is presenting that is less than ideal, so to speak, we can shift it. It's the acceptance and that real, okay, I'm here with it, I love it, I'm just getting the gift. Can you get the gift from it? Can you get the gift? Can you really get the gift of the quote unquote unwanted?
Yeah.
Without rejecting it, so to speak. Like we can't reject anymore. And that's for our neighbor, for people who are on the other side of political lines, for anyone in our field. We cannot reject, we cannot separate. And that's a lot. I have a lot of Native American and Indigenous spirits that work with me a lot. I actually had a really cool encounter yesterday morning, so spirits helped me a lot. Just I'll get my own session, and I hadn't had one in a while. I'm like, I really feel like I just, want that experience, because it's just so beautiful of healing the heart, so to speak. And so yesterday morning I was just in silence for a bit, and I had he was my grandfather in a past life, a Native American chief, just appear, and we just went into this zone where I was just bawling, because he left when I was 2 in that lifetime, and I was just, the abandonment that was coming up was so ever present. But it was just the most incredible experience, once again, in knowing the oneness and the allness of all that is, and really being able to be present to it in each of our lives. We are not separate from each other, and that is the only thing that carries so much weight right now on this planet that we need to remember.
Separation.
And if we can really look through that lens of the Creator, that we are God, and that you across from me, no matter who you are. I mean, it's easy to love the two of you, but can I sit across from someone who is screaming and yelling and hating me, or someone who's protesting against me? Can I sit there and have the same amount of love, or someone who's a channel for evil that's trying to take me? Can we do that? You know, in any shape or form? And I really speak to the people on the different sides of the divide right now, because we have a huge chasm going through society right now. Whether you're just looking at the political systems, whether you're looking at families, whether you're looking at, you know, the vax, non-vax, the whole issue, you know, all of that, which is you know, all on the back burner now, because it's not foremost, like, right in our face,
but it's not over.
Exactly. So let's get real about this. When it comes back, what can we do differently? What can we do differently so that we're actually sitting there with each other and being like, okay,
and holding hands.
Exactly. And I can understand you, because that's what this time is about, is not letting the powers that be out there divide us. We have got to come together in truth, which is, you are literally a reflection of me, because we are all God's source presence. And
well, the more of us that actually truly believe that and can internalize that and sit with it and be with it, then the more that we can reflect that out. And it is a very internal thing. It's not a fight or a battle with anyone. It's more of a fight or battle with ourselves.
Exactly.
More than anything.
Exactly, because it is the self. It's just a reflection of the self.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I guess in doing that too, you have to make peace with your prejudices, isn't it? Because with a few friends who are very dear to me, and as well as in general life, people had some very strong choices around why they did choose to get vaxxed, or not choose to get vaxxed, but got vaxxed. And it took a lot of recognizing the love that we had for each other just to maintain our friendships, because that was more important to us than losing each other, and at the same time holding space and respect for each other's choices, which was a beautiful thing to be able to embrace with each other. It felt very, very very special to be able to do that. But there's been so many people that we've travelled along with that haven't had that, and you feel their loss for their relationships and the pain that they have on both sides. And I think there's a lot of healing around that.
It's huge. It's amazing that you've been able to do that, Amanda, because that's the beauty of the journey, is being able to love regardless. Is really being able to love regardless, and stepping out of the separation and the judgment that causes that separation, because we're all just here for that journey. It goes back to
I think the no thing, you know, where we're saying sometimes when we say no, it opens up
absolutely
paths, you know, for others as well, not just us, but for others. And sometimes it is just standing in your own truth allows other people to have a look at where they're probably not standing in theirs, or maybe they are, but it opens up a space.
It opens up a lot of space, Joe, and it's all how the other person perceives it, right? We all have choice, and each choice creates this different ability to move through the world. So it's different timelines that present, and whether it's, and actually this just brings me back to the question about working with spirit. It's like, and actually I think this should be said for those who are working a lot with spirit, is we can always say no. We always have that ability to choose, right? And it's been that powerful position to actually say no also to God and be like, no, actually, you know what, that's not going to really work for me, because I want something different. How can we we make that look so it's better? Because a lot of what we attract, because that law of attraction, it's always in play, right? It does not differentiate between off-world, non-world. and so a lot of that we have to actually stand our ground and be like, no, that doesn't sound quite right. And I've heard of people who've had, been asked to carry this child or that, and most people do because because they feel like that's what you're supposed to do. And I've heard of people who said no, and I'm like, because they believe they have choice. I'm like, yeah, that's what should be taught. We are not supposed to just say yes because it's coming from spirit.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We've got
that's
to be
the
discerning.
sovereignty, where the sovereignty and the
Exactly.
discernment comes in. Hey, I love that you've
On
said
a
that.
higher level as well as in a daily level.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a funny conversation about aliens recently.
Yes.
If an alien, there's this talk about aliens coming to Earth, which
Yes.
I'm a big believer in aliens. One of my favorite little topics, and I don't like to call them aliens; they're just beings.
Yes.
That one, should show up in front of you and say, "You're the chosen one."
Yes.
How much you just hand over, your sovereignty kind of thing. And it's like, well, hang on a minute.
Exactly.
Let me feel, what else have you got to tell me? Or
Who actually are you? What's your qualifications?
where have you come from?
What's your purpose?
It's like we need to be able to, as humans, not hand over our sovereignty. And it's exactly what you're just talking about. It's like we always have choice.
Yeah, and I think this is huge, and we're talking about it for a reason. We have to say no.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to anyone or anything that we're giving our power away to. It's got to be looked at.
Yes.
Yeah.
No being would stand in front of you in the first place that's in honor of love or connection would say, you are the chosen one.
Exactly.
For starters, it's
Exactly.
like, and that's where we need to let
because that's appealing to egos.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because we are all the chosen one.
Yes.
We are all God. We
Yes.
are all source. We are all the creator. And it's something, I feel like actually it's going to deserve a lot more airtime in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When you're ready for that. But that needs to be talked about.
Yeah. I want to jump back because
Yes.
something popped up, and I think it's really important for our listeners. I was right there with you, following you when you were talking about, how we are all connected, and we need to be able to listen more and trust more and let go more and all of those wonderful things, which I totally 100% agree with. But I know that also for myself, and as a lot of the listeners will say, but what if this person did this to me, or what if this is happening?
The common day terms around forgiveness and
absolutely,
moving on, those.
What can you give us any tips? I know, look, it's wonderful to think that we would all be in this divine space of being just so loving to everyone, and that's the goal, But it's like, I
totally know, and you're out, and it's a great question because it's an experience I've just been through.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, is to have someone turn on me, and again, not because it's them, it's because the energy coming through, and I had to actually walk this one. How do I love?
Yeah.
Say no, and have forgiveness all at once.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me, 2 really profound experiences in my life over the past 3 years, where it came down to obviously full self-responsibility because you've created it, I've created it.
Yes.
For my growth, your growth. We create things in our reality for our growth. We co-create with others for our growths together. And it's all about how we look at it. It's our perception. It's what we want to take from it. And when we're ready to take from it. And I had 2 experiences. I want to tell you about both of them because they were huge. The first one, I'll go back about 1.5 years. But it was someone I was in relationship with, and we just had a falling out of integrity. There was just one thing that needed to be said. It was just like, there was an agreement made, and just say something if this occurs, and it wasn't said. And so I got angry. I went into emotion because I'm like, it's so simple. It's just words. Just yes, because I don't have it. Because just talking is great, beautiful, excellent. Thank you for expressing how you feel. Perfect. And I went into the emotional component of that, and then I went through the forgiveness process. I forgive you, and I forgive the situation. All good, whatever. Yeah. But I could still feel the energy hanging around my body, and I could not shake it. And I just asked one day. I said, how do I shift this energy from my body? And I just heard self-forgiveness. And self-forgiveness washed through me in a way that it was indescribable, because it was just like the purity of God coming through and taking it all away.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could have done that myself, so to speak. It was, but then it was just the next level of forgiveness, which is there's nothing wrong.
Yeah. So
There's actually nothing wrong.
So it's literally about asking. Just keep asking.
Keep
asking. Yeah. Ask
Yeah.
for support. Ask for support. You know, and be still enough to listen to the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And be still and listen and allow. I think allowance is a lot.
Yeah. And sometimes it may not be the answer that you want. You know,
Exactly.
sometimes it might be, you might have to listen a little deeper.
Yeah. And my experience with answers too is a lot of it has been because I know I've been in training to be able to differentiate and to really understand who's speaking to me.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
And to really be able to fine tune the resonances and the frequencies and be like, no, that's, you know, it's not 100% right there. So you stay there. I love you because you're,
Yes.
you know, being like me, but you know, it's not the path I'm going to go on.
Yeah.
And we can choose, we can shift. A lot of times if I hear something, I'll be like, okay, but what else is possible? And then not just taking anything as solid, because we can shift as creators, we can shift anything and everything imaginable. And so you look at people who I think are on the top of their game in any profession or sport or industry, and it's because they never take no, or they never take this is it for an answer. They actually literally are doing their own process of being able to communicate with the divine and just say, okay, how do I get here?
Yeah.
And they're not just listening to the guidance. It's a really
like a clear channel. Like, would you say like it's a clear channel?
It's a clear channel. It's a clear soul's purpose. It's a clear pathway to get where they want to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we just need to have that first set intention.
Yes.
This is where I'm going. Now give me the advice.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
they are so fixated on getting to the top of whatever. If it's professional sports, they're going there.
Yes.
And so anything that's coming through is giving them that gateway.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
It's like a
okay.
snowball, isn't it?
Yeah.
As well, I guess, of energy and motivation and momentum. Yeah.
Exactly. But then the intentionality I find is just key.
Yeah.
It's just a key part of all of our lives is intention.
Yeah.
And you can always shift it.
Yeah. And the other
Nothing's
thing
fixed.
I'm getting to is it's like the listening thing and the hearing is it's like a muscle, you know. The more that we listen in and realize what it is, what kind of sounds are coming through, or what does it feel in my body, and the more we keep listening, it's like the muscles building and getting stronger and stronger, and to the point where I loved when you first sat down how you just said, I just constantly just listen to spirit, you know. It's like, well, God, it's so beautiful, you know, that you know what it is and what's not.
And it's been a differentiation, and it's been interesting because I've had to do that in the human world with having, because it's just like spirit world's just like human world, right?
Yeah.
It's like everyone wants to say something.
Yes.
Everyone has a voice.
Yes, that's so true. It's so true.
And so,
I've never looked at it like that.
who do you want to be in relationship with? Who do you want to listen to? Who do you want to take your advice from?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's come down to, okay, God.
Yeah.
And anyone who is working purely for source, and so I actually shut everyone out for a while because I'm like, no, just source, just creator, just the essence of all that is. And then I had to come back to the understanding realization that I actually do have a team who wants to assist. And so just be discerning on, okay, unconditional beings of love and anchored in that creator essence. And then if I have that intentionality to go forward on a certain idea or project or relationship or anything, that supports there. But it is, you know, like you said, Jo, it's a discernment process in all things. And I think that as human beings, we're all coming back to God and coming back to source if we so choose. If we so choose. But along the way, just like in our human world, we need to really be aware of what is out there. You know,
so
of what's out there. Just look at it as another playing field. Like we're on Earth playing field, all sorts of people and situations we can interact with. And
because I'm listening to you and even hearing you bringing the word God through as you're doing. And listening to you before when you were speaking, I just had this vision and connection with, if this is how we spoke in church, if this is how we spoke from the Vatican, if this is how we related in politics even, which is a different
Oh my
field.
goodness.
What people would hear and what people would feel would create a true reality, wouldn't it? And not just all the games and not all the confusion. It's a language that resonates through on so many levels. And I feel like I've been sitting in a temple in a church, just sitting here today, because I don't know, the conversion of words into energy is just so
palpable.
So yeah, it's amazing.
I'm
It's
sitting here
very
thinking how much I
beautiful.
want to hear your language.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yes.
Oh, I'm like, is it rude to ask?
Joe just jumped out of the chair.
It almost feels like you're like just like you could just do that the whole time.
And I could.
Yeah.
And you would feel it and you would
Yeah.
know it. And I need to do more of it. Actually, we'll start to get some events together. And I do have a call on Tuesday nights I've been playing around with.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I'll let you know about that. But
Yeah.
Please.
essentially, yeah, look, we are all God. This is, and so what I understand is this is our language, this is our resonance, this is our frequency.
I can already feel myself like.
All right. So we'll just elevate the space a bit. So the creator, konosya manasya, it is who you are. It is who we are. It is the internal essence of the being, right? And so konosyataya masyataya sutasya. So we're just being reminded of home. Asutakumaya syataya. And I will tell you, I laugh a lot because it clears so much energy.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
and it's just like so much
it's
bliss.
love.
So
Lightness.
Yeah.
it's just light. So I do laugh a lot. In,
Good. We love laughter.
in this space. So, where shall we go, girls?
Oh, you lead the way.
Oh,
All right. How much time do we have?
Yeah.
there's no time.
There's no time.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. So we're just going to generate the energy that creates worlds. Because that's who you are. That's who I am. That's who we are as a collective force. We're here to do the work together. And that's to lead each other home. So as we were talking about conflict, the conflict isn't the issue with another being. It's a piece of presence that you have in that moment to see through the conflict and look at it as the greatest gift that has ever happened to humanity. Because each one of these words, each one of these words is showing you very carefully the way to come home. Whatever that other one says to you, or what you say to yourself, is exactly what you need to neglect. You need to look through that and see the essence of that soul, that being who is in front of you, that beauty, that resonance. And then, the world will change. It doesn't mean you accept human behavior. If you need to walk away, you do so. But if you can see them truly for who you are and for who they are, which is just an eternal fractal of the source creator, then you will have found your way home. So I just wanted to add that in there, to really give you the answer to that question. How do you look through conflict? You don't. You see it for what it is. It is a gift to you and all of creation. For the wounds of the heart, that's what we need to heal. But not in the traditional way, where we think something's wrong. We only see the greatness of each other. And when you look in that direction, then you know you are home. You are holding each other's hands, and you are guiding us as a human race forward into all of eternity. because it doesn't end when we leave this planet. And we need to get ready for the true beginning. And that's eternal life. That's where we're all going. But we need to understand where it begins. Sutta Kumayana Sutta Sya. It starts from the heart. Sutta Sutta Kumayana Sutta Syataya Sutaya Sutaya Sutaya. And so when we talk about presence being the key to enlightenment, it's only because it's a source of all that is. All that is lies in front of you. Right here, right now, in each and every moment. And all you must do is look there, and then the answers will unfold. Don't look outside, not inside either. Right here, right now, in the eternal essence of all that is. It's a grace that you see in every moment, in every instance of awakening. For your awakening journey doesn't begin and end. It's always here. So can you see it? Can you really feel it? Can you really be present to the God of all that is, and only that source creator? Because it's when we get stuck in the loops that it may be different than we could actually have. Source Gunasyatayana Suttasya. Source, that everlasting presence, that is the way home. Sutta Kumayana Suttaya. So find that joy in the heart, Gunasyataya. Find that space where you find you, Suttaya Kumayana Suttasya. And then you'll know you found God. Syana Suttaya Kumayana Kumaya Kumaya. Oh, Sutta Gunasyataya.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
What a gift that is.
Oh, thank you both for
Your
sharing.
laughter is like medicine.
Mm.
Like, seriously.
Oh,
It's so beautiful.
it's just it's a resonance.
Yeah.
And it's a gateway.
It's felt, yeah.
And we all have it. And,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing that I'm here to do, is just to say, Gunasyataya. I'm a reflection of you.
Oh,
I'm a reflection of you. You're a reflection of me. And let's play.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Let's
Yeah.
enjoy this journey. Let's be free.
Let's be light.
expand.
Yeah.
Let's expand. Let's get out of the darkness and the shadows, because things can shift so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, things can shift instantaneously.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in the work that I do. It's like, okay, that's gone. This is here. And it's just instant.
Yes.
If we can know that it's possible.
It's the trusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've had lots of proof over the last couple of years. We've literally been like shoved into this funnel right now that there's not much space in there to move. It's like we're just going. And, do you want to make it hard for yourself, or do you want to just start trusting and asking and allowing?
Yeah.
And it will be a lot easier.
It'll be so much easier because you'll take the pressure off yourself, and then you can expand. And it's like Joe and Amanda, it's like there's a time on this planet when it's all going to come to an end.
Yeah.
The pressure, the stress, the fighting, the war.
Yeah.
And all we're doing is getting ready for it. We're literally lining up with that timeline at the moment. All the beings who are here to create that reality, we're here doing it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's where holding hands comes in.
The holding
beautiful.
hands. Because I believe what you were just saying, Joe, about the funnel, and what you're sharing with us, Zhara, about the power of choice and the no. Like, there's been so many silver linings over the last couple of years as well, and a lot of people have felt that rebellion against being contained and being forced and being felt as if they're feeling as if into that space of no choice. And it's they've consciously found other avenues to express themselves or live or find ways to continue being in their freedom and sovereignty. And I think that has been one of the greatest gifts of the last couple of years, is that activation of that awareness, and why having like the voice that you're sharing at this time and the language around holding hands and connection is so powerful, because when you say we all have a choice, we are all divine beings, it just wakens something up in you. You feel it, don't you? And it's just like, well, hell yeah, I do.
You can do anything. You have no fixed point in time and space.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Like, you are not of this world. Yes, we're here and we're experiencing this 3D, but you're not of this world. You are literally God's source, eternal essence.
Yeah.
And that means you can do anything, be anyone.
Yeah.
And not have any holds on you whatsoever.
Oh.
And I mean that for humanity as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So it's coming back to that we all have to journey through. And it's a lightness of being that wants to return to the soul.
Yeah.
We just
Absolutely.
want to be happy, don't we?
Oh, we just want to be happy. Yeah,
We want to be happy. We want to be loved. You know, we want to be understood.
Yeah.
And because listening, like hearing your awakening, your story, your journey, you've shared, you know, very much the realities of that, but also you've put it into a context of the spirit in the human journey, and taking it out of the I guess the density or the of what it means to be human. And if we look at, say, a relationship ending and going, he said, she said, you know, this happened, I was hurt, so I didn't talk to them for 3 days, or this or that. If you stay in that density, it doesn't resolve, move, go where it can go, does it? When you move into that energy of it, as you said, it says about the energies coming through and looking at it from that point of view. And you said, Joe, about taking the person out of it, you can go so far and gift each other so much.
And that's the term that I use, is self-responsibility, like complete self-responsibility. When you have that, that's when you have your freedom.
Yeah.
Because nothing, not anyone, any energy, any situation is holding you back. It is literally just you. And if you realize that, you can get yourself into and out of anything.
Yeah.
And you take back your power.
Yeah.
And you know that you're a sovereign creator. You know that you're this being that's here just experiencing a human world.
Yeah.
And that you have the divine connection to source, and you can literally manifest and create a whole new village if you want on this earth. And that's what I know we're here to do, is to really come back to that space where we're living a heaven on earth reality.
Yeah.
And it starts with the heart, and it remains to be seen how it actually unfolds. But if we can all come back to that within self.
So beautiful.
It's home.
Yeah. So feels like home.
So where do you see, how do you support yourself? Like, we were drinking this water, which I already feel like, you know,
the whole space has changed.
We've been sprayed. You know, you have the life effects. How do you support yourself on your daily
basis? Okay, so I have a bit of a routine.
Beautiful.
And I talk to God all the time. All the time, as much as I can. I personally am in language, or I'm in that creative space. A lot of time, I'm actually, the past few months, it's been really trying to take the thoughts out. And then if that comes in, though, because I will still have the time when I'm, you know, the conditioning is, the programming's taking over, and then I will put something on that can just clear it out. I'll just put something in my ears, audio, or I'll ask my team, my guides, God, to just assist in moving it through. But if that's not necessarily working, it's maybe because I need to listen to something. So I'll just pop on like Eckhart Tolle or Wayne. I put Wayne Dyer on the other day, and I was like, oh,
he's so sweet, so light, isn't it, and beautiful.
And just beautiful, and just getting exactly the essence of what I need to hear. And then that can shift a paradigm that's still running. I drink the Life Effects Living Water every day because it's got that mineral content that sparks the charge of electricity that we need to actually conduct ourselves in this world. And
love that, plugging in.
It's plugging in. It's literally just creating a charge in the body that helps the circuits work better. And because you're a transducer, you're a receiver, the human form, right? We are antennas, so to speak. And so when we have the electricity that can drive us, then we have that connection, not just on the physical plane with our health and well-being, right, and having all of that in line, but with the divine, with source. And so it's one of those things that I don't think we know enough about, proper mineral content. And
I think that'll be coming out more and more.
Yes,
it's
got to.
Not on mainstream media or Instagram, but you might have to dig a little bit deeper, but there's a lot of interest around minerals.
And so what we're trying to do is make it very normal. So it's a water, Life Effects is a water purification tool as well. So it'll start, the minerals actually just neutralize fluoride, chlorine, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, agricultural, industrial chemicals. So you can use it as a veggie wash like that. You know, it will start to purify the human form, because we are 99.9% molecularly water. Leading edge science is showing. And so it's something that was given to me around the same time that I had that big awakening in language, the big soul exchange experience that popped in. And it was just like, okay, get this to the world. This is what we need because of the source of the particular mineral content. And so I drink a lot of water. And look, I like to highlight my life with good times. It's like it's having fun. It's enjoying a lot of beach, a lot of swimming. Used to do a lot of cold water immersion in the waterfalls. Because it's gotten warmer and it's a lot busier out there. I don't do as much, but now it's just ocean. It's water. It's cleansing. It's loving. It's living. It's enjoying the moment as much as humanly possible. And it's not something that I've mastered by any means, but it's something that I feel like we need to celebrate. We need to enjoy our lives regardless of what's going on. And
just going back to everything that's woven, that the thread of your awakening today is always ask, just keep asking. And I'm thinking there must be a lot of that too, even asking spirit, what do I need? What does my body need? Yes, it's a lot of listening. It's a lot of tuning in. And I'll go into the planes of creation, as I call it. I know them as the primordial fields of creation. And so I'll go into the planes of creation and just kind of stir the energy a bit and see where we need to go in daily life, and then just ask. It's a lot of asking. It's ask, okay, what's required now for this moment, and we forget to do that
with intention, like whatever I need to achieve or accomplish. And a lot of lately, it's like, Zhara, just sit back and relax and watch us work, and I'm like, okay. I'll do that.
And that's the hardest of all to do.
It is.
It's the hardest of all to do, because you have to work hard.
Exactly.
To make a living,
exactly.
you got to. It's like
the tangible results from the day. It's like, what did I do today? Oh, actually, I wrote a bit.
And it doesn't mean don't. It doesn't mean don't take action. And I'm still taking action, but I think what I'm being asked to do is take less action. And more sit back and relax.
And intention. Even just being able to have an intention.
Yes, Jo, absolutely.
I'm hearing you. I got so much out of this today. It's so incredible. I feel like I'm full up. Well, not full up, but I feel like you've filled my cup with so much beautiful, simple information. And the one thing that I've got out is just keep asking, because I constantly forget to ask. I usually have to be in a place of sorrow to ask,
Right.
And I just don't want to do that anymore.
Let the misery go.
Let the misery go. It's like, ask
and you shall receive. It's really simple. It's ask and you shall receive. And so everything else, if we can just step out of the way, and again, I am still doing my best to let go of the old paradigms here, but that's where we can turn. And I have a few really beautiful friends who are so good at it, and they literally just walk around and
Yeah. In
have
bliss.
a thought, and there it is, right? It's just
they're manifesting in that
Yeah.
way. Because when you say about intention, that's something that I find difficult to sit with. Like, I have a lot of intentions, but narrowing it down to say one intention, or to actually what is me rather than for someone else as well, is often a little bit murky. So how would you suggest or share about sitting with intention, or connecting with your intention?
What's coming to me is don't harp on it. It's there.
Yeah.
It's in the field. How can you give it a little bit of love every day,
Yeah.
but not be attached to it?
Yeah.
It's fine-tuning the need versus the want versus the what is.
Yeah.
And if it already is, then it is so.
Yeah.
And then you can let go.
It is so, there was a word or something that I got out of my as it is, because it's already done.
It's done.
Yeah, it's already done. Yeah.
And we just need to make the space for that in our reality.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like a caving in on it. And so if we can just
we're trying to make it better.
Exactly. So if we can just give it space to breathe, then it will
Yes.
grow. It's like you can't suffocate the seedling.
Yes.
And you can't suffocate the baby. You need to allow it the time to grow and to have its falls and to have its, it's time to get back up in its cries, and then eventually it'll reach maturity.
Yeah.
And so you just nurture it along the way.
Yeah.
And that's literally just with love and grace. And I'm still mastering it myself.
Yeah. I love that. That's so beautiful.
Practice.
It's a practice, and I feel like I'm being dragged kicking and screaming sometimes, because I'm like, just now.
Yeah.
Now, please now.
Yeah.
But it's
I get that.
yeah, but it's the more that we let go.
It's the space. It's giving it space, giving everything space.
Yeah, it's a space, and it's a thank you for it's already done. Just a very practical.
Yeah.
I love it that this has already occurred. And actually, what I do a lot of, and I only recently realized, Joe Dispenza actually talks a lot about it. And I listened to him probably like 2 or 3 months ago. I hadn't done much or anything other than knowing who he was. And then I heard him speak about the heart-brain field coherence. And so that's the space that I go into actually every day or every other day, is just really sitting with that heart energy that just generates.
Beautiful.
It generates worlds, is what I always have been trained in it. It's actually the creation force, the creationary force of all that is. And so if you can sit there in that energy and then have that clear intention, then it comes to manifestation and to fruition. So that I'm glad we got on that. That to me is a big key in intent.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just saying,
heart.
but is just kind of connecting with that essence of all that is you.
Yeah.
And then sending your intentions out from there.
That's so beautiful. And if you don't know what to ask, I remembered what this thing was that I was going to say before. If you're unsure of what to ask for, you can just also say, can you show me the optimal thing that I need for today? What is the optimal gift that you can give me today? And so it is, to round it off,
Yes.
kind of thing. Because a lot of people go, oh, what am I going to ask for? Well,
that's brilliant, Joe.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. That's totally the way to do it.
what is for my highest good?
Yep. And a lot of the times I always say, and I don't do it often enough, I'm just being shown, highest potential timeline, highest potential reality, show me that now, please.
Yeah.
And just staying focused there, because there are so many timelines we can walk down based on every momentary choice that we make. And it's never right or wrong. It's just aligning with, highest potential timeline.
Yeah.
And for me, and bring it back to the self, because when you're on that highest potential timeline for self, you're feeding the whole.
Absolutely.
So,
yes. That's beautiful. I love that, because I know we can get entangled with relationships and then children and stuff like that. No, just stay with you.
Yes.
And everything else will fall into place. It's all divine.
Yes.
Yeah. On that note, what does 2023 hold for Zhara?
Oh, well, the intention is very much a lot of speaking,
Yes.
A lot of writing. I'd like to finish my book this year.
Beautiful.
I've just started. It's been in the works for a long time. Like
Yep.
it's a lot of the experiences and a lot of the creator codes that just flow through with the words.
Yeah.
it's a lot of energy that's just going to get poured onto the pages. And
Yay.
so that's the plan, really taking life effects to the next level.
Yep.
We've been in retail shops, and I've just brought someone on who's amazing. Sorry, I take that back. I haven't brought him on. God's brought him on.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I didn't do anything. I was just asking. I was like, who can really take this business?
Yeah.
And so he's come in the field, and that's been amazing, because it's that support, someone who can really hold that energy, because it is a big energy. Like the product is a big energy to hold. With what it can do. So we'll do all of that. A lot more time with the kids, and really just slowing down has been the big intention, is just slowing down to have some relaxed time. And to write and really feel that cup of the heart, because that's my biggest intention, is just to feel the flow of source at all times. And so if you're on point and on purpose, so if I'm writing, if I'm in that zone, and also offering the work, so I'll be offering work, just really getting some packages together, and so maybe definitely some one-on-one mentoring to a certain degree, but then also just very low price point, achievable
beautiful
audios and programs that can be done. So I'll be creating that, and that feels
really
so the
beautiful.
voice is coming through very strong, isn't it? And what you're saying with the book, that just, again, if you look at Zhara's website, the power in her words, this book is going to have a lot of expression and shifting of energy. So something to look forward to there. And again, that coming through of the words for you, it just feels like the voice will get louder and louder, and the flow will get stronger and stronger, because it's all there, isn't it?
It is, and it's whenever, and I think this is for all of us to remember, when we're really on our soul's purpose. There's some of us who have so much we could do, right? But when it's really soul aligned, the energy is just so beautiful, and the passion and the purpose is just so there, and you don't need to think about anything. And for me, business is not something I have to think about. Let's just talk. Let's just say that's a thinker. Whereas that's
when it's coming through, like just the way you said, there's nothing to be done.
Exactly.
The people that need to be with you and in your space will just appear. There's no hard work needed there.
Well, I think the timing with the water is, because I remember many years ago having like colloidal minerals for myself and with the kids and things like that when they were little, and there's a lot of energy around our frequencies changing, and that crystalline energy coming through, again lifting us out of the density, and your water, for me, the life effects, feels a very similar thing, with that activation of timing for people and what our health systems need, with what
so true
physical things we've been experiencing the last couple of years, but where we're going with what we need on the cellular level.
And that is it, because I see it and am trained in it, that it's an ascension accelerator. So in the 3D reality, you're actually shedding the physical density. Right. So those heavy metals, the things that keep us down in the way that's preventing the well-being in the system, start to flush out of the cells, and then we're activated with the frequency as well that starts to bring about lightness. But just in the physicality, the intracellular hydration, that ability to get the water and the minerals in that proper combination that you need,
the good stuff.
The good stuff.
It's the optimal stuff.
Exactly. And then on the etheric level, you're also opening up pathways and gateways. So a lot of my customers are psychics or clairvoyants, because they see what's going on. They can do and they're great, because I don't need to say anything.
So just hold the ball and go, I can feel it.
And some of them are having quite profound shifts. It just is a matter of where we're at. It's just a matter of where we're at in our journeys. But because we are 99.9% water molecules, Gerald Pollack from the University of Washington has been saying, it's the foundation. It's everything. And the training I receive on it is very much, it is the birthplace of creation, and it's much more than we know. So it's the waters that need to return to their highly activated state, and that's how we really take hold of our planet again, and our society and our nations, and bring them back into physical balance. So we'll see where it goes. But it seems to be an interesting.
It's amazing. We will put the website on the link in Spotify.
Both.
On both.
Okay.
So
great.
anyone that wants to grab some of this amazing product can do that. So they can just jump on the website and buy it from there. Is that correct?
They can do that.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll give you guys a coupon code as well that your listeners can
thank
use
you.
and give everyone a discount.
Beautiful.
That's really
That would be wonderful.
That would be that'd be wonderful. Thank you both.
Yeah.
You're welcome. No, thank you. It's literally just been incredible. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And
and you're so welcome. And I just really want to say thank you, because you both are just incredible. Like, just such amazing beings here on a purpose, here on a journey, and really facilitating that understanding and that awareness that needs to go out through the masses. And I just see like really big things coming for you. And I'm just excited to watch it grow.
We're excited too.
Because you see it as well, and I'm seeing it. Like, ooh, this is going to be fun.
Yes.
They're on a supercharged,
absolutely
turbocharged.
Yeah.
No, the fun, the joy, listening, like when you were sharing the language and the message, the laughter, like that, the joy.
The joy,
the big part of everything.
Everything
what makes it all.
Yeah.
So.
Worthwhile.
Yeah.
That's not even the right word, but it's it's probably not a word.
And Zara's going to let us know when those online nights.
Yes. So they're Tuesday evenings. So I run them 7:30 to 8:20.
Okay.
On Tuesday evenings, Brisbane time.
Yes.
And essentially, what we do is we just drop into the space of creation and see what comes up. And
Beautiful.
so it's a lot of language, but also it can be activating. I will say, so when people start to drop into space with me, everything comes up. The people who've already done a lot of the shadow work, or who are full in that self-responsibility mindset, it's pretty easy, right? But if you're not quite there, if you're not aware that you are a walking miracle, then everything can change and drop away.
Wow.
So it's what are you ready for?
Yeah.
Right. And if you try to hold on,
Love it.
and I do understand that if you try to hold on what's not working for you, this is activating. So we're activating maybe a bit more density in the field. So one-on-one might be a good way to start. Or I can point to some really good practitioners if you're already working with a kinesiologist, or another healer of some sort. Do that. But I just want to say, not everything has to be hard. It can be easy, incredible shifts. Not everything has to be hard.
Yeah, and it's subtle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think you're not always talking about it always being subtle. I think you're talking about it being
sometimes,
well, wherever you're at, it will be subtle or
absolutely.
Perhaps
not
sudden.
But come on.
Yeah.
I would love for you two just to come on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
And so I just charge $30 a call, and we do that on a weekly subscription basis. And you can just cancel any time.
Yeah.
But just come on and experience it. The women and the men I have on there now, I think it's actually mostly women. They're just amazing and beautiful and really ready to play in that field of creation. They've shifted a lot from their lives. That's
and
not
this
working.
Is Zoom.
It's a Zoom call.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. And then we just see where we go and have some fun and have a lot of laughter and
And this is the joy of the Zoom, the internet, these
coming together
technologies that we have to be able to connect people in all places.
I know. I think
it's fabulous.
It is fabulous, and I think the live in-person events are also they're even better.
But you can't do that all the time. And
exactly. Although I wish I could. Cause
it's
so much fun. Like I just love being here with you.
I love that. Yeah, me, us too. We've got our first Zoom session on Friday, and it's like, wow, I wonder what this is going to be like. It'll be amazing, but it's like, it's so beautiful when you're sitting in a space with somebody.
Because actually, speaking of that, this is how we met Zhara last year, was at Communion, a beautiful community event that Paul and her co-host sorry, I said it, didn't I? Zhara and her co-host Paul
Sarah
brought together.
Sarah, you might have been Sarah in a past life.
This is Zara's. I've got a few Sarahs that are close to heart. Zhara and Paul co-hosted communion events out in the Currumbin Valley at this most beautiful little sanctuary spot, and it was a fabulous evening there, and the integrity around what you pulled together that night was I obviously had a lot of thought and planning in it for it to come together in that way, but that live gathering of people and what you're sharing and the message of what you were imparting, you just felt like this is what we should be doing every time we get together in groups, because it was so fulfilling. There was beautiful food, there was beautiful music. Paul sang, you spoke, and it was with such integrity and conviction. You really listened to every word. It was like I was having flashbacks that night too, like being with the Dalai Lama and things, because he picks you up and carries you along, and he laughs, and you feel like you're in a room with 200 people, but you're just in the room with him. And it was the same thing with when you were sharing that night too. There was 50, 60 people there, in this beautiful space, but it was so connected. Yeah, so I hope there'll be more of those too at some time when the calling's right.
I know. You know what? I know Paul is running an event on the 24th of March. I'll find out details and I'll pass them to you. And I'll be organizing some events, and then later on in the year, I think we'll be organizing some together again.
Yeah,
but
something to look forward to.
Yes, yeah, I'll keep you posted with them, because it is. I appreciate the feedback, because it does make me realize, okay, definitely do more of those, because it nurtures the soul for all of us. I think, to be in community.
Absolutely. And it just gives the people an opportunity to go around and meet people, if they're starting out or they're just, waking up or whatever. It's like being around like-minded people makes it so much more easier.
It certainly does.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, Jo. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, it's been a real pleasure to be here. You're amazing.
Yay.
So thankful
Lots
for
of
you.
joy.
Absolutely.
That's who we are. We are love.
We are love. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for listening, and remember, all links to our guest are in the notes. Leave us some comment here or message us on Instagram how our guest today connected with you, or perhaps something you wish to share. A special thank you to the blissful Ksenia Luki for our theme song. Jo and I will be with you next week.
Bye.
Ciao.
She teaches me lessons, and boy does she sing. Her voice sways like a hummingbird, flies like a shooting star. She whispers, you were never born, so you will never